Representative Janine Nodder. I'm in the Town Councilor's Chamber this week. The viewers will now come to order. Chatting with Janine is now in session. And my show this week is on the Alzheimer's annual Hot Dog Days. My guests are Bob Bergen, who, if you've lived in Merrimack, then you remember Bergen's Card Store. So we go back a long time. And seated next to Bob Bergen is Ron Sloan.
Yeah.
So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you, Janine. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. I think I've been to every one of your hot dog days, and I wore purple for you to help advertise. And Alzheimer's, many people in Merrimack and New Hampshire have had family members with Alzheimer's, and we know how devastating it can be. So thank you for being part of this awareness and tell us about your hot dog day.
Okay. When my wife died in 2013, I went to work as a caregiver for Visiting Angels. I was assigned to mostly men with Alzheimer's. In 2015, the National Organization of Alzheimer's created what's called the Longest Day, or on the summer solstice, there about June 21st, or whatever that longest day turns out to be. They wanted individual teams to create an event or an activity in their own community. In New England, we're part of the Massachusetts-New Hampshire chapter, and there's 160 teams that do various things from the lemonade stands to rowing on the Merrimack River to runs to golf tournaments, and then there's us. We started the idea with the help of some of the members of the Knights of Columbus and the Merrimack community in 2016, and we sold 500 hot dogs, and people seemed to enjoy it. As we have progressed, we are now in the thousands of hot dogs. Last year in the pandemic, we had 850 people show up and eat 1,500 hot dogs, and we raised over $6,000. It's impressive that we're raising awareness, love, hope, and fundraising while we're actually having fun. Ron Sloan has been in charge of my food tent for all 6 years. Because it's such a project. We have over 50 volunteers now to make it all come together. But the Alzheimer's Association office is in Bedford, so the director, Melissa Grenier, comes down and joins us, and she answers the science questions that we don't have the answers for. But we're a fundraiser, and we're proud to say that after 5 years, we've raised over $20,000, and we've raised a lot of awareness in our community. As I go around with my hat on, people basically know who I am, and they know what we represent. And I think that's the real good thing about it. We've met the longest day criteria, and we've exceeded it.
That's awesome. And Sloan, have you been in, I'm sorry, I called you Sloan.
People call me Sloan, that's fine.
Well, it's a cool name. Have you been involved all 6 years?
I've been involved with Bob all 6 years. Yep, my dad passed away about 20 years ago from Alzheimer's. It's a terrible disease, and since moving to Merrimack, I've got involved in a number of different activities, and like Bob said, through the Knights of Columbus, I met Bob. We started this event 6 years ago, and then 4 years ago, using Bob as my example, I found out about the Walk for Alzheimer's, and I was able to start a walking team. And we've been doing that for 4 years now, raising money. Last year, we donated over $3,000.
Now, is there a website? Because I know there's a lot of walkers in town, and do you allow runners too, or do you have to walk?
Most people walk.
Just walk.
I guess if you wanted to run, that would be fine.
And where do you go?
So the first 2 years that I was involved, the walk was around downtown Manchester. Last year, with COVID, we had to do local community walks. So we walked right here on Babusick Lake Road. We went about 2 miles for about an hour.
Is there a website to sign up? Where do you
yes. Everything is based off their ALZ.org, and then you put /walk to end Alzheimer's.
Okay, so once they get to ALZ.org, they
and then they'll say what
site.
region, where do you want to participate, and you could say the team Aldo, ALDO, or you could put under Merrimack, New Hampshire, and there are 2 teams in Merrimack at present time. Jennifer DeFelice
DeFelice, yes.
has a team, and Ron has a team. So there
I
are
know,
two.
I want to give her a shout out because Jennifer DeFelice has just been an outstanding member of this community with volunteering for a number of organizations, and this is just one of them.
It's very cool because I think they appeal to two different groups, but everybody that wants to participate in a walk, because maybe they can't do the hot dog event, so then they can find the other things. So we're trying to create a complementary information so that as people come to our event for the hot dogs, maybe they'll find out about the walk and I'll go, okay, go see Ron. Or he may have something set up to do that. So that's what we're working on now, is how do we bring that all into one, unified Merrimack community doing everything. It's working so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because the walk people are very, very organized, and they get a compliment for what they've done. And
So I wanted to talk a little bit about Alzheimer's, because after talking with you 6 years ago when you had your first event, my mother had dementia as well. And so I did a show on dementia, and the lady, she runs the facility in Bedford.
Melissa Grenier.
That's probably,
You
that
had
name
Melissa,
sound-
yes.
Yeah, she gave me a book on how to talk to Alzheimer's patients. But my mother had already passed since then, but just to get it in my head, how do you understand dementia, Alzheimer's? So I look at my hand, okay, this is a brain cell and these are the dendrites, and they get tangled up with plaque. And I do not know how to draw, so I just have little scribbles. So if you look at my little scribbles, these scribbles represent brain cells. And in the book that she gave me, it was either her book or Capsambellis' book, that's the author's name. She wrote a book on a whole family that had Alzheimer's. The thought process, your thought goes from brain cell to brain cell. But when you have Alzheimer's or dementia, you got plaques. So the thought gets stuck, and that's why the thought just goes away. And so sometimes it takes a while to go around. Like when my mom was dying and I went to see her, I started singing a little song that she used to sing to my daughter when she was a baby. And some moments passed, and my mother started singing it. She remembered the song, so it was kind of interesting how that works. So the word dementia is the umbrella term that
Right.
covers all memory loss, but Alzheimer's is a
It's the most
specific.
common form of dementia.
And how does what makes Alzheimer's Alzheimer's?
And what it has been able to determine, first they determine someone has dementia. Then they're going to try to determine whether it's Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, Lewis disease, and any other of the components that there are. Neurologists evaluate someone's response to activities, someone's response to communication, how they choose their words. There's all levels of it. But the greatest dilemma, and my comparison that I have learned, is all of us have packages of wires, whether they're to connect our cell phones or connect our cables in our car. Well, they all get clustered together, and you sometimes go to pull them apart, they don't come apart. That's basically what happens, and that's what gets distinguished. A test is done, and they can't separate things that they're normally able to separate. And a lot of it will be confusion. They'll go to the same, I'll give you an example, Lowe's department store, and because each one is set up differently, they'll get lost, even though they've been there before, because things aren't where they were. A lot of advantages that I saw was that music is a big player.
Yeah.
And the more people can hear the music that they understood in the past, there was a fabulous PBS documentary done in England, and I recommend it highly. It's called Our Dementia Choir. And what they did is nothing left of astonishing. They picked one song and had 30 people who suffer with dementia learn it. Many of them already knew it. And then they did a show with 2,700 people as a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful PBS presentation. It probably explains more about dementia than I'm ever capable of doing, but I do promote it because it has a lot of value.
Mm-hmm. The old soldiers' home, they don't call it that anymore, the veterans' home.
In Tilton.
Yes, I don't know, they call it the dementia ward. They have the pictures of the younger person's self on the door so that
Yes.
they know where their room is.
We have several, I won't mention names, but we have several members of our community in the Knights, as well as Merrimack, former teachers, former local workers, who were at the Tilton VA home. And it's a tough call. When you know you're going there, you know that you may not come back. And it is difficult, but they do use a lot of photography and a lot of trying to, collapse the mind into simpler times. And that's all you can do.
Another thing that I remember from the book is, because we often hear about, somebody's lost, they got out of the house and they're wandering. You can put the doorknob up high and leave the doorknob where the doorknob usually is, make it an unworkable one, because they don't know to reach up. That they might see it, but it doesn't connect. So that'll keep them from escaping the house.
Yes,
So.
yes. Part of the problems with people escaping is that they're not escaping. They need the fresh air. And they have routines that they go to when they go outside. And whether you're in a distinguished long-term living facility or living in someone's private home, something else happens that stirs a moment. And unfortunately, they start to wander. Not everybody does. Not everyone with Alzheimer's wanders. Some don't wander. They only go short distances. It is difficult to determine which ones are going to wander and which ones aren't.
So getting back to the longest day, which is not related to Normandy, because I remember when we first talked, you asked me, did you hear about the longest day? I'm like, yes, it's storming the beach at Normandy. Yes, I do.
Yes, exactly.
But it's Thursday, June 24th. Now, I have some bad news for you.
Yes.
That is our last session day, so the state reps were going to be up the road voting on the budget. Depends on how many amendments, floor amendments we have to go through. If we get out early, then it can come and spend some time here with you folks. So hopefully we get out. We should be done by 6 o'clock or before that. And I'll make sure I come down for the last hour.
Let me explain to people who have not been, other than the 800 that I'm grateful have come, including the people I lied to last year, and I apologize, because I had to go out and explain to them why we didn't have any more hot dog rolls. I never thought the shortage would be hot dog rolls, not hot dogs, but we ran into a dilemma. When we open up at 11 o'clock, Ron and his crew run the tent. We have a component series of canopies and tents so you can sit under shade. You can grab your grab and go, get your bag. You get a brown bag with 2 hot dogs, a bag of Utz potato chips, and a Coke or Diet Coke product. You can go back to your car, you can go back to your work, or you can sit on one of our tents. We will be ready to serve you at 11 o'clock, and we will continue to serve you until 7 o'clock at night. The best we can do is say that when you buy 2,000 hot dogs, you've got to think you're going to have enough at 6:30. But we're very, very happy to have the problem of running out. But it's a nice venture. If you're coming and you're in a wheelchair, we have 2 canopies set aside that'll be easy for you to sit in the shade and enjoy your hot dogs and enjoy the people around you. Many of the folks that volunteer are people who have had frontline stories of Alzheimer's. They are widows, they are family members, they are survivors, and we welcome them. We want them to come and see that this community is unique in that it supports this event unlike I never thought it would 5 years ago. I'm expecting 1,000 people this year, and that's a little crazy, but so is 1,000 hot dogs, and we're long beyond that. So it's simple. You come, you can park your car. We have the whole parking lot from Town Hall to the James Mastercola Upper Elementary School. There's no school on that day, and there's plenty of parking. It's easy to access right in the parking lot that runs from Town Hall all the way to the school. So park your car, take a little walk, enjoy a few hot dogs, say hello to some neighbors, or maybe people you haven't met.
Mm-hmm.
And these are our lawn signs.
Yes.
So you'll start to see 50 of those all over the community. I did put a couple up today, but I didn't want to start them until later in the month, closer to the right after Memorial Day.
So where does the money go? What do you use it for?
All our funds, every check, I received a check this morning from Silva Auto Body. Check gets made out to Alzheimer's Association /NH. All the monies go to Alzheimer's, and Melissa explains to me that it's part of their budgetary process. It goes to the research and it goes to the operation. We do 100% of our proceeds. That's why even when someone is buying a banner or promoting some other aspect, we still have the checks made out to Alzheimer's. And then we just reimburse our little expenses that we have to offset. Everything is made out, every check, every dime is given directly to, on a weekly basis, the Alzheimer's Association. At this time, I have 18 members of the team online. You can join our team. Just go on the Alzheimer's Longest Day website, type in New Hampshire, you'll find our team, or type in New Hampshire Hot Dogz, you'll find our team. And we have already raised, this is another amazing feat. We've raised $1,125, and we're not out of the month of May yet. And
That's for this year?
that's right now.
And what's your combined total from the 6 years?
The 6 years, we've done $21,000.
Nice.
So this year it's going to be quite a year. I think when I'm looking at over $1,000 and we're not even out of May, that's pretty exciting. But in all honesty, that includes 2 $100 donations and another $200 donation. So, but a lot of $25 donations have come our way also. So all the money that we receive goes in a weekly donor envelope that we mail in. And as people give us checks or they give us cash, we convert it. And we process it, and they process it in the office in Waltham, Watertown. I moved it. Anyway, we send it to the Office of Alzheimer's, and then they process it.
Can you hold up your pillow there?
Oh, the magic pillow, yes. There it is. We only have one of these. I keep trying to find more. But this is our pillow that we put on the cashier's table, and we move it around as best we can. These are our hats. These are custom to us. This is the Alzheimer's hat, which just says Longest Day. But I liked our hat, which was designed by Fully Promoted in Bedford, which kind of gives you the stripes of a hot dog and the idea of exactly what we're trying to do. Again, if you were one of the crazy people that have shown up for 4 or 5 years, thank you, because you give me the inspiration to keep going and to find more people who want to know more about Alzheimer's and more about what we can do as a community. And I follow that up a little bit with, if you know someone who has Alzheimer's, don't be ashamed to treat them normally. Don't be ashamed to say, I don't know what to say to them. Say whatever you want. You know, there's no harm in holding a conversation with someone who has Alzheimer's. There's no harm in talking about the Patriots. They may respond about the Red Sox. They may think Ted Williams is still playing center field. But it doesn't matter. You're giving them a conversation. You're giving them something that they want to hear about. Maybe you could do something for that family that's kind of silly. Maybe they need a case of water picked up and they can't carry it anymore. So if you know someone that does, just ask me if there's any little thing you can do. The more little things we do, the connections that are made at our hot dog event are amazing. I hear about it every year afterward. People say, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could talk to that person. I said, you can. They're normal people who have a brain disorder. And they're still going to be normal people even at the end. So that's one of the positive things about raising awareness at a silly hot dog event. It's not a complicated situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess I'd just like to add, you know, I've been in Merrimack now for 16 years, and I always liked the 4th of July because the community came together.
Yeah.
And it was such a big party. This event is becoming something like that. Merrimack's a great community. We love living here. Our kids have gone through the school system. But for an event, like Bob said, a silly event like selling hot dogs, the whole community really supports us, and we get to see all those people. They get to see their friends and neighbors, and everyone has a story. It touches everybody in some extent.
That's so true. And it is kind of like an old home day.
It
I
is.
run into people that I only see on Hot Dog Day. I call it Hot Dog Day, but.
Yeah.
And I had a question about the color purple, because that's your color. Is there a meaning behind it, or you just pick purple because it's a nice color?
No. Somewhere in the national pipeline of people who make those decisions, purple, I believe, first became the color of the people with breast cancer and breast awareness. But it's the color of survivor. It's the color that for some reason has been chosen to be the background color of everyone trying to be. We don't have the first survivor of Alzheimer's, but we're still going with the color purple, and that's why it's been, every year I get another shirt. The general color of people trying to say we're in this to get to the survivor point.
Mm-hmm.
So purple has been the accepted color nationally for I don't know how many years, but I would say probably 15 at least.
That movie, The Notebook, just came to mind. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back when we still had Blockbuster, and I saw the movie on the counter. I said, "Oh, I'll go return this for you." And my husband and my daughter both stopped me and said, "Mom, you need to watch this." I went, "Oh, it doesn't look like something that I would watch." And, no, trust me, watch this movie. Oh my gosh, not only did I cry watching the movie, I cried the next day thinking about the movie.
I think about the people that I have known when I was a visiting angel. I think about the moments and the things we shared, and I clearly, this is a bad thing to say, but I had a gentleman who really liked panini sandwiches. And if I would get to work and forget to bring him one, we had to go in his wheelchair. It was quite a ways, but we would go in the wheelchair down the hill and to the panini restaurant. We'd get his panini sandwiches, we'd eat them, and we'd come back. I used to get yelled at because nobody could find us for 2 hours, but that's how long it took to go get the sandwich. But that's something he enjoyed, something he remembered, and I had never had a panini sandwich before him. So whenever I have one now, I think back to Bill and I think about those crazy sandwiches that he wanted. And he would ask me, and I said, like somehow he had it in his mind that I worked at a store that I could bring him a panini sandwich. And, so it is a good thing. And the fact that this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a memory. And everybody has a memory about a hot dog, which is why we picked it. Ketchup, mustard, relish, and yes, we have onions. The onions are
Some
very
people
popular.
will swear that ketchup does not belong on a hot dog.
Oh, I don't
I got in an
disagree.
argument with someone just last
I
week.
don't disagree. But you know what? If the customer pays him $5, he gets whatever he wants. And last year, we put gel cups of ketchup, mustard, relish, and onions because we couldn't have the containers. And we're waiting anxiously to find out what they're going to tell us. We either have the little annoying packets or the big bottles, or we'll put them up in gel caps again. So, if people want them individually, we'll do it.
And where is your station? You take the money?
So the big main tent. So we have a couple cashiers, and then there's some people in the tent to pass out the hot dogs and the chips and the sodas and keep the lines moving. We got a full staff down in the basement of the church cooking the hot dogs. So it's
It takes 22 people every shift.
quite a production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ladies down in the kitchen and the guys grilling it, they're quite a process. And another sponsor is Michael Timothy's, and they donate all the gloves and the tinfoil that we use every year, and that saves us, It's just another one of those things that we get that makes it every hot dog is individually wrapped.
Nice. With gloved hands that have been sterilized. So.
Absolutely.
We have 2 minutes left. So in the last 2 minutes, can you direct the viewers also? Just tell them all again. Just read the sign and tell them where to go to get more information.
If you want to know about more information regarding Alzheimer's, you can go to alz.org, and that's the general mailbox for everything that you need to do, and you can look things up. If you want to know more about our event, we don't have yet a full functional website because I'm 75 and it's not that easy to do, but I'm working with people who know how to do it. Shortly, we should have a fully functioning website. But the property is pretty public. It's a big parking lot. Anytime during June 24th, come down. If you have questions, the people from the Alzheimer's Association in Bedford office will be there, and they will answer your questions. And we're excited. We're excited. I'm very excited with the new sponsors and the new charities that are assisting us, and we're ready to do it.
Yeah, so if you want to get more information, you can go online and just search for New Hampshire Hot Dogz with a Z and ALZ.
ALS.
You'll find some links to Facebook, and you'll find our teams there, and you'll see some more information.
And you can meet Ron and Bob. So come on down June 24th, and if session gets out on time, and it should, then I'll come down too.
We would
Great.
welcome you.
Thank
Look
you.
You have
forward to
been a
seeing you.
supporter for 6 years, and I got to give a little shout out to you as an elected official. You're my only elected official for 6 years. So I thank you for what you've done, and you've promoted us at the governor's level. You got us a proclamation from the State House last year, and I think that's the second or third year you've got a proclamation. And when I was in the chambers, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but I was walking around with 13 or 14 other members of the New Hampshire Alzheimer's advocacy team, and this fine lady gets us an applause when we walked into the chamber.
That's right.
And the president of Alzheimer's looked around like, who the hell did that? And I said, the people with the hot dogs. And I said, that's one of, and she had purple on, and then they all came over at lunch, and so it was nice. You've been a very big contributor. Everybody contributes to our event, making it successful in little different ways. So I wanted to give you a shout out because you've been there for us. You've been helping me. You answer my questions. You take care of things in Concord that I can't do. And you've been kind of like the Alzheimer's rep. So you don't have an official title, but we'll give you a hat.
Thank you. And thank you for watching the show, and I hope you make it out on the 24th.